Welcome to Lead with Warmth and Excel with Competence Leadership course with Paul Robinson. In this mini course, you will learn about the old paradigm of leadership and the new paradigm for leading people effectively. Also, you will learn about becoming a likable and capable leader.
The old paradigm, what I'm talking about, is the command and control method, and the new paradigm is warmth and competence. This course is about lead with warmth, excel with competence. So let's get to it. To begin with, I want to make this statement very clear. Command and control leadership, that kind of leadership style is dead now. The old command and control paradigm was actually an authoritarian leadership model that pretty much worked very well in the factory setting of the old industrial era and to a lesser extent in autocratic and political leadership. During the industrial era, command and control was a very effective model. You cannot ignore that. The Industrial Revolution created the need for mass production. Factories needed to produce large quantities of goods to ship overseas in order to meet the demands of a growing demands of a connected world. Managers were required to direct the uneducated workforce. Only managers understood how to solve problems, and they were able to direct and discipline their employees. Workers were given with the instructions of what to do, what not to do, and they were rotated in shifts. Workers were not required to use their brain because it was not required. It was only about human labor. Policies such as pay for performance and performance reviews were refined to ensure that employees continue to work. Schools were also modeled after these factories because you wanted to prepare factory workers for the future. Curriculums were developed to teach the essential skills required for factory work. Curiosity was unnecessary and even discouraged in schools. Instead, students only needed to fit into specific behavioral model. They were tested in accordance with certain criteria. It all came down to an idea of fitting in. Now, it worked very well in a factory system where people could just never change jobs and they retired with pension. Managers were issuing orders and they were doing the supervision as usual, and suggestions were not required from anybody, especially from the factory working people or anywhere from the bottom of the pyramid. The old model had its own demerits though. Authoritarianism does not have to imply accepting responsibility or accountability. As long as there is someone to blame, leaders can follow this command and control model without accountability and ownership. You can exercise command and control by just taking value from others and not adding any value to others. The leadership title secures the command and control model, and people are bound to follow rules and orders as long as this carrot and stick model is in place. But the challenge of leadership also was less burdened. Plus, you have all these yes men surrounding you to carry out orders. And fear was served as a great way to manage people, and their options were limited. People didn't have choices. They had to strictly follow their leaders because they had no choice. There was no other option. The title was respected, not for the person, but for the title. People followed their leaders because they have to, not because they want to. And that was the system that was working well at one point. But however, the world we live in today is very different. Industrial workers are replaced by knowledge workers. The old model of command and control no longer is viable. People are becoming less engaged. They are being micromanaged. They are busy making excuses. They work their bosses. There is a toxic workplace filled with politics and favoritism, dissatisfaction and mismanagement. We see people leaving managers, high attrition rate, and the least talent retention rate. Today, if you look at it, employees have a lot of options. The new generation of workers are more like the job hoppers. They have a lot of choices, multitude of choices, assuming if they are really talented. They don't like being told what to do. They are not interested in being micromanaged. They wish to have their voices heard. And what happens in a business no longer stays in the business. Employees now have more than ever way to express themselves. They prefer a culture and a work environment over other reasons to stay in a company. Today's workforce simply does not want to be this another cog in the machine. They just want to be part of something significant and meaningful. Even though command and control is dead, it has not yet left the workplaces. What else can you say? Force of habit, something that has been around for approximately 150 years. You can't just let it go so easily. Even today, employees are misled by this hierarchy and positional leadership. Leaders who silence the dissenting voices at the bottom are now stifling the valuable ideas that exist within an organization. Leaders who are not approachable to their employees are squandering valuable team collaboration opportunities. Leaders who do not listen to their people, to their teams, they miss out on the diversity of ideas and the power of perspectives. It stifles innovation. People are becoming less engaged. There is mistrust and execution delays. Experiments and failures are not encouraged. Rather, they are punished. Smart people are not hired. Today's successful workforce is ruled by trust rather than fear. People's actions are guided by values rather than rules. Leaders who run best places to work know that fact that the people can no longer be controlled, but they can be unleashed. The world has evolved. Rapidly changing strategies, business model innovation, and operational transformations characterizes today's business environment. Leaders who come from the old command and control model will struggle to adapt to the changes in this new corporate landscape. They will be despised or hated for their old methods of managing people. Knowledge workers do not want to be treated in the same way as the factory workers. That's a fact. A knowledge worker must employ their intellect. They want to be taken seriously for their ideas, something that was very unheard during the industrial era. As a result, now there are two dominant leadership styles emerged: the authoritarian leadership and non-authoritarian leadership. Now, Douglas MacGregor wrote The Human Side of Enterprises way back in 1962, and in his book, Douglas refers to this authoritarian command and control model as Theory X management and non-authoritarian model as Theory Y management. In the Theory X model, management assumes that the workforce is lazy and ignorant, and the job of the Theory X manager is therefore to make it so difficult for the workforce that they are forced to do what the manager wants. The Theory Y manager, on the other hand, believes that his employees are intelligent, articulate, smart, and imaginative, and above all, they just want to do a great job. So instead of telling his employees what to do, the Theory Y manager's job is to create an environment in which they can do their best. The only way to accomplish this is to understand what the workforce requires in order to perform at their best. And the only way a manager can do that is by listening to what they want. What do the people want? Today we have entered the knowledge economy, now transitioning to the coexistence with AI. Customization is replacing mass production. Self-management is replacing being managed by others. Accountability must be accompanied by autonomy. There is a transition from micromanagement to vision management. Today's workplaces are more collaborative and inclusive, celebrating diversity and collaborating to create value together. Organizations are not just places where people can just go, work, get paid, and do their jobs. This is the world in which most leaders have grown up. Organizations today, they include financial planners, health and wellness centers, caterers, learning centers, daycares, career counselors, life advisors, places where people can just go have fun and meet new people, do their charities and other things. We are witnessing the integration also of work and life. And many of us spend as much, if not more, time at work than we do at home. This is not the type of organization most leaders are accustomed to, but it is the one that which we are all becoming involved. And the post-COVID scenario has made work from home the new normal. So if command and control was the old paradigm, you must be wondering what is the new paradigm? The new paradigm for leadership. The new paradigm for leadership is warmth and competence. A leader has to be likable and capable. A leader must lead with warmth and excel with competence. Warmth and competence is the new paradigm for leadership. If command and control is the old paradigm for leadership, and if that is dead, the new paradigm has to be warmth and competence. Warmth and competence is the paradigm that is best suited for today's workplaces. Because warmth makes a leader likable, and you need to be a likable leader. And competence assists a leader to becoming more capable. Warmth allows you to connect with people, while competence gives you followers the confidence to follow you. You must first connect with others before leading them. First connect, then lead. As a result, warmth is considered necessary and even a prerequisite for leadership. Warmth is about making that genuine connection rather than being just liked. It's about humanizing leadership and connecting with people on an emotional level. Warmth is one of the many important qualities that a leader must have, and it is a critical component in building strong relationships, fostering trust, and motivating teams to reach their goals. A genuine smile can convey a lot of meaning. When we smile sincerely, the warmth reinforces itself. Feeling happy causes us to smile, and smiling causes us to feel happy. Moreover, smile is contagious. People tend to mirror that behavior. Of course, warmth is difficult to fake, and to polite smile fools no one. To project warmth, you must fully feel it. Feeling it from the inside demonstrates sincerity and transparency. Warmth indicates that you are an approachable person. It's more important to be approachable than to be competent if you really consider warmth and competence scenario. Consider this. If you have a problem at work, who do you go to for advice and help? A manager who is highly competent but not approachable, or a manager who is less competent but very warm and approachable? I'm sure you'll approach the most approachable manager. Warmth, because it represents empathy, a down-to-earth personality, a person who has an open door policy to serve others in need, and a person who is not boastful or arrogant, but very compassionate and considerate of others. You will go to an approachable person. Warmth can alter the working environment. Leadership warmth is about creating that welcoming and inclusive environment. A warm leader approaches their followers with kindness, empathy, and understanding. This creates a very positive environment in which people feel valued and appreciated, thereby strengthening relationships and fostering a sense of belonging. When people feel like they are part of a team and that their contributions are valued, they are more likely to be more productive and motivated. When a leader is warm, they create that environment of support and encouragement, which motivates people to perform to their fullest potential. Warmth fosters trust. Trust is a very critical component of any team success. Warm leaders are more likely to earn their followers' trust because they show genuine concern for their well-being. People are more likely to trust and follow their leader if they believe that they have their best interest at heart. This in turn creates a more cohesive and efficient team as everyone is working towards a common goal with trust and respect for each other. Trust promotes information sharing, openness, fluidity, and cooperation in management settings. When coworkers can be relied on to do the right thing and to keep their promises, planning, coordination, and execution becomes a much easier process. Trust also facilitates the exchange and acceptance of ideas, allowing people to hear the message of other people and increasing the quantity and quality of ideas generated within an organization. Subsequently, warmth is an important leadership quality that should not be overlooked. It promotes strong relationship, trust, and team motivation. Competence, on the other hand, qualifies you as a skilled leader. Competence gives you the authority to lead others. Competence allows you to distinguish yourself and to deliver results. Competent leaders are well versed in their industry, organization, and responsibilities. This knowledge contributes to their credibility and legitimacy as leaders, earning them the respect and trust of their followers. Competent leaders are capable of managing complexity. They can analyze complex situations easily. They don't get overwhelmed. They can identify potential risks and opportunities. And they are good at making that sound decisions because they are competent. They're very innovative. They can recognize opportunities quickly. They can also very good at critical thinking, and they are more adept at solving problems. Another dimension to competence is confidence. High competent leaders have better confidence. Incompetence makes people very weak. And in order to hide their weaknesses, they can manipulate others and lead them astray. But competent leaders are confident in their abilities and can restore their faith in other people. This contributes to the creation of a very positive and supportive work environment in which employees are motivated to do their best. Followers admire a leader who is skilled in a variety of areas. Competence confers authority to lead. Competence demands respect. Competency allows you to produce better results, make better decisions, and contribute to a team's overall performance. Competent leaders have clout. They make leaders who are very highly influential. Competent leaders lead with influence. What does this mean for your leadership development? If you want to be an effective leader, you must understand this warmth, competence dynamic. Focus on warmth. Learn the human skills of connecting with people. You don't need to be an extrovert to do this. Develop a strong empathy to understand others' point of views. Learn to respect others. Lend your ears and become a better listener. Be warm and approachable to the people around you. When you make these changes, you become competent in warmth. At the same time, become a competent person. Build your skills and get better at it. Let people have the faith in your abilities. Let them trust your decisions. Let them appreciate for your understanding of that big picture. Be that person who your followers can approach you for guidance and solutions. Build your strengths and learn to leverage the strengths of your team members to achieve a common outcome. Become that leader who is likable and capable. Also work on your warmth and your competence. And you will see the big difference in leading in today's times.